Welcome back, Wagoneers, to another exciting episode of the Wasted Wagon Podcast. Today we have with us most of our normal crew. We have Patrick here, we have Todd, we have Sean, we have myself, Travis. We have two special guests with us in Biff and Josh. And we have Mike here in some way, shape, or form.
He's looking thinner and darker.
He's got a fresh cut. Looks like he's on the way to the courthouse, though.
Trimmed up the goatee a little
But
bit.
he did bring a gift to the Bumblebee with him.
I didn't realize he had so many tats, but,
It was like a 5'5".
He got some work done.
And the pink bill, hat,
And dreadlocks.
Yeah. He grew his hair out really quick in 3 weeks, huh?
But where we're going to start today is we're going to let one of our guests, Josh, was not here last week, and we did a top 5 NBA players that span across, whether it be current day players or 90s players or 80s players. But we're going to let Josh partake in that in no particular order real quick before we get started with the actual episode. So Josh, who you have?
Well, I got them in order.
From 5 to 1 or 1 to 5?
I'm going to do 5 to 1, I guess.
So in particular order.
Do you have any honorable mentions?
No. Because, I guess I would say Barkley. I was thinking of putting him on my list, but I got a better big man at number 5, which is Shaq.
Shaq's 5. All right.
Yeah, he's good.
Well, it's number 1. Barkley was Travis.
Shaq was my number 2. So.
Okay, and then 4, Rodman. I think he's just a good defensive player and dirty sometimes, but yeah.
Great rebounder.
I think we said this last time.
Amazing three-point shooter.
I think I grew. It really kind of goes for most of those Bulls players. Like I grew for appreciation with them as I got older. Like when I was younger, I kind of was tired of seeing them win.
Right.
But then as I got older, I grew to appreciate the greatness of Jordan, Pippen, and Rodman.
Well, the Last Dance documentary was great.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And I took that person.
Number 3, Muggsy Bogues.
Hey,
well, dude.
Space Jam.
Good choice. Good choice.
Yeah.
He just. I was actually looking at something on his Twitter today, and the guy, he just seems like a genuinely nice dude.
Yeah, he is.
Like if you met him in person, I'm sure he'd be like super nice.
I had the shirt that I believe that I got it at like Clearview Mall back in the day, and it had Muggsy on it in black and white, and it had the teal and purple in writing. Like it's not the size of the dog in the fight; it's the size of the dog. It was one of my favorite shirts as a kid.
They do a lot of football shirts like that.
And him on NBA Jam was the shit.
Yes.
So it just.
Hey now.
So was Rodman when you could change his hair color.
Oh yeah. I forgot about that.
In the
That
best that he had like his stats, how it was like speed and defense was all the way up, and then his 3-pointers and his dunks were like almost nothing. He had like a 0 for shot.
And
Get shit out.
but my favorite person on NBA Jam, number 2, Clyde Drexler.
Oh,
Clyde.
Yeah, like my favorite player growing up, basically, other than my number 1, Michael Jordan.
Yeah, he's like me. I
thought for sure you were
I
going to
was
say
one of the
LeBron.
only. And Patrick was
Fuck,
my number 2.
He said I thought for sure he was going to say LeBron.
We've already discussed that.
Well, I think you need, knowing that Drexler is your number 2, I think you need to get a Clyde the Glide jersey.
Oh yeah.
But you got to make sure it's from a reputable seller on DHgate, because my Cliff Robinson Portland Trail Blazers jersey is shit.
And I know Todd brought this up on a previous episode recently. Was he was wearing his Wisconsin hockey jersey that did not come in embroidered.
That was last week.
It came in screen printed. Which, the jersey still looked pretty good, but it wasn't, most of the time when you go on at DHgate, you're hoping that you're reading that it's embroidered and whatnot. My son's birthday is coming up in a couple of weeks, and he asked for an Anthony Edwards jersey, one of the Timberwolves superstar. And I got one, the blue one, old school Wolf, it says Wolves written across it, and the blue, it's got, I think we talked a little bit about the triangular green around the collar and the sleeves, it's got that on it. The seller said it was embroidered, and then it comes in and it's just crappily glued on, glued on words and numbers and names, and
It's that thin felt looking shit. Huh?
Yes, it's right. It's same as your Cliff Robinson and my Horace Grant that I used to have, and part is like Carson's not going to care. Like he's going to outgrow it in a couple of years anyway, so it's not like it's a big deal for him. But I'm just pissed because, and I actually kind of left the seller a little bit of negative feedback there, saying like, hey, you said it was embroidered. It's not. It took 6 weeks to come in. So I was a little thrown off. But that's kind of the gamble we talk about when we're buying these jerseys from DH Gate is sometimes you're going to get one that fits perfect, that looks perfect. Sometimes you're going to get one that fits like a tent. Sometimes you're going to get them that just look like they're crappily made. And that's what this situation was. Like I said, luckily, I don't think my son's going to care. I just kind of care because I'm the one that bought it.
Well, speaking, I'm modeling this beautiful jersey from Retro, Royal Retros.
It's a nice jersey.
Fully customizable, all embroidered, $85.
No, look.
So
Is
that supposed to be a New Orleans Pelicans baseball jersey?
Yep.
See the
But it
logo.
seems
Right?
good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's got the kind of New Orleans Saints colors, the black and gold on it. Like, very nice.
That's what the Saints have with it.
Yeah.
Josh always was coordinated with shoes
Yes.
too. You can't see the shoes.
The you can't see
No,
the
I like
shoes.
the green shoes.
Josh is rocking a proper pair of J1s right now, low top.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had the green shoes to match the green hat.
Like,
So.
and I made the joke,
He brought his green hat.
via our Facebook page,
Bring your hat, Snoopaloo.
and as well we made it yesterday in person to Josh when we went to the Tulane UNO game, and a lot of the Tulane players were wearing the Jordan cleats. And I said Josh is gonna see those cleats, and he's getting involved in an adult softball league just to buy those cleats.
They just sit on the sidelines.
But Josh always does come very color coordinated, and outfits match very nicely.
Yeah, I like jerseys and.
Mike, what do you have to say about Josh's jersey?
Shots fired! Shots fired!
Oh, just crickets. Okay.
Just nod.
It looks nice, doesn't it?
But speaking of jerseys, Todd's also wearing a jersey here today. Sean's also wearing a jersey, but I'm sure Todd would like to gloat about something today.
I'm wearing my Sunday Black Jake Mangum Mississippi State baseball jersey.
Excuse me, Todd. It's the
Mississippi State.
It's like
Mississippi
the
State.
Wasted Wagons podcast. Don't you agree, Mike?
Shots fired! Shots fired!
crickets again. He's quiet.
Quiet.
blink
It's
once
quiet this
if you-
evening.
Cat got the tongue.
Yes.
But I mean, I don't know if y'all paid attention to college baseball this weekend, but Mississippi State actually took down LSU in 2 out of the 3 games this weekend, and it beat them pretty convincingly on Friday and Sunday. Today, they actually run ruled them 15-5 in the 8th inning.
Nice.
This is what I was kind of hoping to see all season from Mississippi State because they have the bats. Like their starting rotation is very, very suspect, but they have bats from like top to bottom. Batting leadoff, former UNO second baseman Amani Larry, just an absolute stud. I expect him to get drafted this year. Dakota Jordan, he was I think the SEC freshman of the year last year. He's an absolute phenom. He's probably the best position player in the SEC right now. And of course Hunter Hines, who he had himself a day on Friday, jacking out 3 home runs in 1 game.
Jacking out.
Would you rather me use a different word than jacking out? He hit
No,
three-
I think it's the perfect term.
he hit 3 bombs.
Not jacking on.
They don't call the man Big Game Hunter for nothing. But
I
anyway,
was
Mississippi State took down LSU 2 out of 3 games this weekend. I was very satisfied with it.
I didn't get to see the whole game because I just watched the highlights because of course it's on ESPN SEC plus that costs $10 a month, whatever it is. But I was impressed with the reliever for Mississippi State in the first game. I thought like he came in and because like LSU was doing all right for a bit and then it was just like he was lights out.
Yeah. Mississippi
Yeah.
State's bullpen is very, very solid.
Yeah.
It's just the issue right now with their team, much like back when the Orioles made it to the ALCS back in 2014, the starting rotation is just suspect, man. I don't know if they have the pitching depth, the starting pitching depth at least to make it further down the road, but
Yeah,
they looked really good this weekend.
yeah. LSU's.
And
Yeah.
even yesterday's game, Patrick, we kind of put it on the game cast on your phone, and they were losing 7-1 in the 3rd inning to LSU. Well, they came back and they ended up losing 9-8, but still to make it such a good game like that,
Yeah, it was
their bats can keep them in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a good result. Shout out to my Gators. We won the series over A&M, which was good. My boy Jack.
Is Shaq gonna win the Golden Spikes this year?
He might. It's looking like a good early favorite for it.
They said he's already pretty much locked up the number 1 draft pick. Like,
Dude,
that wouldn't.
The dude's a specimen, man. No denying that.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if he goes number one.
He's gone.
It's gone. It's gone. I don't know exactly when, Todd, we get to play y'all, and I think it's away at the Dude.
Until Sunday.
Yeah, so we'll that'll be a fun matchup. We'll I'll entertain making a bet with you if you'd like for the series.
Would you would anybody be willing to take a road trip to Dude?
Yes.
I mean, I think
Who's driving?
It's like 4 hours away. I think it's a manageable drive.
I mean, it would probably have to be like a next year thing.
The stadium
got
is
enough trips planned.
The stadium is like, I mean, almost like a pro style stadium in the college campus.
I mean, we have to sit in the left field lounge though, right? If we can. If we have
I think that would be a given.
I was gonna say if you're going to the Dude, you might want to make it like a 3-day trip and maybe do a day or two in Memphis because man, I mean it's very close to Memphis, Tennessee. You know when you get that far up in Mississippi.
True.
I like the Dude from Dairy Queen. It's a sandwich.
No, I think you could go up early on a Saturday, catch the Saturday game, maybe get a hotel, stay for the Sunday game because usually the Sunday games are like 1-2 o'clock starts, so you'd be done by say 4. You get home maybe 9:30. It's not too bad. If you
make a bigger trip out of it, and do a day or two in Memphis too.
But maybe I don't want to do a day or two in Memphis.
Walking in Memphis. Okay, sorry.
Features
I don't even remember who sang that song.
Mark Cohn.
Yeah, you Mr. Memphis would know over here.
I did do quite a few trips to Memphis because that's actually where my wife went to college. So we used to go about once a year. But
UNO actually just they lost 2 out of 3 to Memphis this weekend in baseball.
segue.
But honestly, I mean, a bigger college like that, I think, like Travis kind of said earlier, I think Blake Dean is trying to really challenge this group because he played Florida State already this year and played Memphis.
Yeah, all back to back. It was a 3-game series against Florida State, then 1 game against Mississippi State, and now 3 games against Memphis.
Yeah, so he played 3,
like 7 in a row against tough schools.
3 bigger conference schools back to back to back. I mean, I think Dean is trying to challenge his bunch. And maybe this is preparing them for conference play. I don't know. I mean, they played Memphis really well. Our guy, Mitchell Sanford, hit a 2-run bomb last night to tie it up in the 8th inning, and then they kind of let it slip away in the 9th. But it was a really good series overall. I wish that UNO would have been able to lock the series up. But
And we do think Coach Dean made a little coaching blunder. I think outsmarting himself a little bit at the end of Game 1, and they could have won that game. And they had a pinch hit for Colin Loop because they were trying to put the lefty on lefty matchup.
Colin Loop from Jesuit.
Jesuit. And the guy's batting around 400. They pinch hit for him to put a lefty in because they liked the pitching matchup. And of course, this guy who they pinch hit for had barely any bats on the season.
He struck out.
And he ends up striking out. Meanwhile, you pinch hit for almost a 400 hitter.
Yeah,
that's where I think the analytics just kind of, to me, you go with your hot hands. You don't necessarily follow the analytics and it's what the analytics say. So I think he kind of outcoached himself in there and probably could have won the game had he just left it alone.
I think I don't know if that. I think statistically, maybe based off how well Colin Loop's hitting, would have definitely probably played in his favor. But who knows what the outcome would have been.
Probably should have left him in. Just like I said, the analytics. Sometimes you can't account for how the game flow feels and like what the emotions of your players look like and how like that. So I mean, we talked about it a little while ago with Dan Campbell, his decisions to go for it. Yeah, to go for it on 4th downs and like, hey, I understand that the numbers say this.
I've seen that game over again, and I'm like, when Josh Reynolds dropped that 4th down, I know it was risky to go for it. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, and
it's like we watched it live and we knew the game was over after that.
I said before they went for it on 4th, I was like, you're killing them. Why give them a shred of hope if you don't make this?
Sure.
And they didn't make
If
it.
you're in field goal range, kick the damn field goal.
Right.
Take the frazzling points.
Right. So
The
that's
fucking
another
Falcons, not that I wanted the Falcons to win,
least
but in that
it's
Super
right.
Bowl, they 2 penalties and a sack out of field goal range. All they need to do is kick a field goal and the Patriots went on that fucking Super Bowl.
Again, everything's always hindsight, right? But like,
Yeah.
Had he caught that ball,
Right.
that would have probably been the dagger that ended them
True.
for good. So, especially on a play that, when you look back at the numbers, like, hey, the numbers say don't go for it, kick the field goal, get the points. You had the right play drawn up. You had everything executed. Like, all he has to do is do the one thing that he gets paid to do is catch that ball. He catches that ball. We are not calling him a bonehead idiot for going for it, and it changes everything. So it's small margins like that.
Well, you're not an idiot when it works.
Right. No, but, and I think the thing that gives them any kind of like solace is that they called the right play. They had everything done right, other than the execution of the play.
Don't throw it to your third string receiver.
Another two psi out of the ball. You
just gotta get Papa Tom on the.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, think about Russell Wilson's career would be a whole different trajectory if they would have won that Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Gave it to beast mode, let him score that touchdown. You know.
I saw a meme that said the Broncos bought a 2007 Range Rover with 170,000 miles on it or something like that.
I just love the memes of Russell Wilson in the Bronco, like the OJ Bronco. It's like, OJ had a better escape from Denver than.
You bring up Russell, and that's kind of a good segue to the other big thing in sports that's been going on lately that started last week that we kind of talked about when the first few dominoes were starting to fall with who's getting traded or moved last week.
The running back carousel was ridiculous last week. I mean,
King Henry,
Derrick Henry
Like
going
every
to the
team
Ravens,
that lost a running back gained another one in a trade.
Mixon going to the Texans. And, Todd asked actually where Aaron Jones went. Aaron Jones went to Minnesota.
Yeah.
So it's like that.
Cousins went to. Well, that's not a running back.
And then Green Bay got Josh Jacobs. They also re-signed A.J. Dillon as Jacobs' backup, I guess, or goal line guy.
Yeah.
The Eagles lost Swift, but then they signed Saquon.
Yeah.
Right.
And then Swift was picked up by the Bears, and it was like a running back carousel last week.
Yeah. When we started recording last week, we just kind of, the Baker Mayfield news had just been announced for his contract, and that was kind of like one of the first big quarterback dominoes to fall.
That's all in one week.
And I think what else got reported right around that time? Oh, they re-signed Mike Evans. We talked about that.
I think
Chris Jones, and then your desire to bring up his dong every time we talk about Chris Jones came up.
Jones.
Chris is Jones.
I think that contract.
Chris is Jones.
It might have been the Baker contract and the Chris Jones contract might have been that same day.
I think so.
And I think the Mike Evans was right after our previous one.
Yes.
We had talked about what's Mike Evans going to do and how that kind of has a big impact on whether or not Baker's going to probably resign there. Well, the very next day they locked up Mike Evans, and a few days after that they locked up Baker. So.
Yeah, and I kind of went today and was doing some research for this episode and kind of wrote down a bunch of the notable moves that happened in free agency since the last time we were on or together. And Sean brought up Russell Wilson, so now he's with the Steelers, but the Steelers aren't done. They go and trade for Justin Fields. It's like 6th-round pick that could turn into a 4.
Yeah.
So you kind of get like, okay, they're set up for a 1 year.
Yeah, on top of that, they said Russell Wilson is hands down the starter. It's like, well, he's only on a 1 year deal, so if he doesn't start, that was a stupid pickup.
But even if he doesn't, they only paid $1.25 million for him, so it's not the worst thing. Plus, if something happens to Fields,
what if he has a good season? So it's like, well, we re-sign Russell Wilson.
But I think he's gonna command probably a bigger number than Justin Fields after this 1 year is up. So hey, come here for a year, play well enough to get yourself another contract, and we're gonna work in our new project of sorts. And
it's kind of weird the way they're handling that though, because I'm sure Justin Fields has his haters, but at the same point, he really kind of towards the end of the year was the guy that kind of kept the Bears afloat.
Yeah,
and almost got them to a point where they were kind of reputable to be almost like playoff contenders towards the end of the year. And to basically say we're going to sign more of a veteran Russell Wilson for 1 year and then have Fields eventually take over after that 1 year. It just seems kind of I don't know. It's weird to me because I think
Yeah.
I think Fields has earned his place as a starter. But
Right, with all the talk of him possibly going to Atlanta, like thinking that he was going to come give us fits, and now he's a backup. Well, okay, whatever.
Now Cousins will give us fits.
Yeah, so that's the other big.
Actually,
He's old, so
yeah, and that's my thing. Like I like Cousins too, and I do think Cousins is a huge upgrade for them at quarterback. So I'm not like dissing that move at all. But from a Saints standpoint, I would much rather play Cousins twice a year than Fields.
Oh,
I
yeah.
agree with that too.
The
I agree
Saints
with that.
struggle with running quarterbacks.
Quarterbacks.
I don't disagree, but I don't agree as much. Cousins is a better pure passer right now, and I think though he can't move, and obviously he'll be coming off an ACL surgery, he won't be as mobile, obviously as Fields, no matter what condition he was in. He is a better passer. He's a more accurate passer, and I think that could still carve up like two ways to beat any team. So,
But he also doesn't have the stable of receivers. That
I was going to say it's actually Achilles.
Thomas
Who's going to
goes though.
be better coming back from Achilles?
Michael Thomas
Cousins or
is
Aaron Rodgers?
right, Achilles. I'm sorry.
to Atlanta.
Yeah.
Michael Thomas,
Oh, really?
but Michael Thomas will
Well, he might
scare
hurt
everybody.
his toe on the way in.
He'll scare everybody for 3 games and then.
But
No, he's gonna tear it up like most people that leave the Saints.
That's what usually
That's what
happens.
usually happens.
Cousins has a tendency to generate a lot of turnovers too. So,
True.
I mean,
Yeah.
although he
I think he's carved up the Saints in the past before. So
Absolutely.
yes, but
Yeah.
and before he got hurt, he was on a tear for a season.
yeah, he was having a huge year last year before he got hurt.
But you-
not Cousins. I like the guy. He wears the Sam's Club shirts, drives a minivan. He's got the whole dad vibe going.
And gets paid.
Yeah.
I think
His agent-
he's
He got
over.
paid more than career earnings.
This guy's
$100 million more than the career earnings of Tom Brady.
and he doesn't have. I don't think he's not a Drew Rosenhaus guy. I mean, I don't know who his
His
agent
agent
is,
does the man right.
but his agent is a hell of an agent because he's landed that man some huge money.
300. He's over 300 million for his career in
I thought it was
earnings.
4.
I don't know. It's somewhere
Brady was
350
3
plus.
something, and he was 411 or something. If I remember correctly, I'm a little off, but
Yeah,
I remember it was like $100 million more than Brady, and I was like, that is ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry,
Let's see. No, yeah, he's got 50,000 a year expenses.
Yeah,
His
Yeah.
contracts, Brady's made.
Well, he gets a new Highlander every
sponsors and
But
endorsements.
The Dodge Caravan.
Oh, excuse me.
They get the magnums of
Mm-hmm.
signature.
and like I
He's got
guess.
a gold club Costco membership.
Mhm.
That's why he buys his button ups.
So let me ask you this: who's now the favorite to win our division?
Our division.
Oh,
Definitely not
the
us.
Bucs,
I still
bro.
think it's the Bucks. I think the Bucks made the right moves. They lost a couple of pieces on defense.
Yeah, they lost Carlton Davis. They lost Devin White.
They lost Devin White.
Mhm.
Yeah,
No.
He's on with the Eagles as well.
But if we sign Chase Young, does that help us in any way? Does that boost us a little bit?
Replaces Cam Jordan's useless
Was our offense still just?
I mean,
Sorry, Cam.
I didn't see anything in Chase Young when he got traded to San Francisco that makes me like super excited about it. I think he can help, but I don't think he's gonna be a super big impact.
I think the knock on Young is he does. I hate to say it like this, but I don't think he's smart. I think he has a hard time learning the playbook, and I think that's why he wasn't utilized as much in San Francisco.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm an Ohio State fan, so I'd be glad to have him here, and I think he
up on Ohio State guys. So,
and I think his youth, and his pass rushing ability, with the
I hope that got on camera.
with Granderson on one side. Look, I know we still have Cam Jordan, and he's a great veteran leader. But let's just be honest. When we had our Saints talk at the end of the season, and who was one of the biggest disappointments on the Saints, Cam Jordan's name was mentioned a couple of times because they finished with a sack and a half
Just
this
one
year, or
sack.
something like that. So
Just one calorie.
I think you get with Granderson on one side and Chase Young on the other, you're at least generating some pass rush. I don't know if it's going to happen. I'd love to see it, but
What did Chase Young get on his Wonderlic test?
that
Was it above 10?
I think honestly, my biggest concern with Chase Young is probably just he seems like he takes a lot of plays off.
Yep.
Like I remember ESPN doing a highlight of
60 something.
his game with San Francisco, and the run was past him, and he was just kind of starts jogging Well, the running back gets turned back into the direction of him, and he's still just kind of lollygagging and getting around and not even trying. Like when he gave up on the play, when there was a play made that he could have had a tackle that stopped a 15, 20-something yard run. But I hear you on the Bucks being maybe the odds-on favorite for our division. I'm not terrified of the Atlanta offense, but I think they're going to I think they're going to get unlocked because their head coach Arthur Smith was a horrible play caller, and he did not use their offensive talent very well.
He's like an RDO season.
Steelers. Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Well, another wise.
It's going to be a shit show of a team this year.
So I would be surprised if Hard Knocks is not pitched in Pittsburgh. That would be my first choice to go watch.
I think this is something that's interesting to see. With Atlanta is going to be. We keep hearing about Kyle Pitts and how much of a specimen he is and how he should be the greatest tight end in the league and whatnot. And he's really just extremely underachieved.
Well,
now that he's got a new offensive coordinator, a new head coach, I'm wondering, better quarterback play, I wonder if that changes. If not, I think we can basically kind of say, and I know you're a Florida guy, so maybe you like Pitts, but this might be his make or break to figure out, is he really that good or is he really a bust?
I think will be his time to. He might not make a massive leap, but I think at the very least, not having a shit quarterback will make him at least closer to his potential like that.
He'll score more than 0 touchdowns.
Yeah. I mean, he's not going to be best tight end in the league after this season just because of Kirk Cousins, but he's going to be markedly better. He can't be worse.
No,
right?
He had one. I think his rookie year he broke 1,000 yards, but had one touchdown.
But
he scored a touchdown against us last year when we lost.
The problem with Atlanta is their head coach didn't use their players. They had Bijan Robinson, and they did not use him properly. They didn't. The other running back, I forget his name. He's Algier, who's very good. They didn't use him properly. So those two running backs with Drake London, who should be a really good receiver from USC, and Pitts, if they can get him to unlock what he should or what he did in Florida. And who else? They got Darnell Mooney, I think, from Chicago. That's a good number 3. That offense, I'm not going to say it puts like the fear in me, but they should be a lot better. And if nothing else, they have a quarterback now.
They picked up the guy from the Rams last year too to try to play a bigger role too, Jefferson.
Oh, Van Jefferson? Yes.
So I don't know if I guess so. I'm guessing they still have him as well.
Van Jefferson.
We'll see. I still think it's the Bucks division to lose. Unfortunately, I do agree that with the pickup of Cousins, and basically kind of starting over with a new head coach, the Falcons have definitely seemed more aggressive in the offseason than certainly the Saints have. I mean, I know we have a separate group text going with Todd and I and Sean, Mark, and our friends Mark and Doug. A lot of the original fantasy football guys, and the big joke has been like the Saints have done nothing. I mean, it's like their big free agent pickup was Cedric Wilson, who's a freaking number three receiver for the Dolphins, and I'd imagine he's coming here to do the same role. I mean, he's going to be behind Olave and Shaheed. We've talked about Shaheed before. He's an exciting young player, great kick returner, great long route guy. But I much prefer him coming in as a number 3 again. I mean, I would much rather a stud on the side of Olave.
Right.
Like
Considering the Bears just traded for Keenan Allen as their number 2.
I'm not gonna lie. When I got the flash across the screen of my phone that the Saints signed a wide receiver, I had my fingers crossed hoping it was Mike Williams. And it was not Mike Williams. It was far off from Mike Williams. It was Cedric Wilson. So. Yeah, I mean, I think the Saints are right now solidified as the 3rd best team in their division, and that's only because
would last as long as Mike Thomas. So
he's injured.
He get hurt in week 6.
But I mean, I don't know. I feel like he would fill that role nicely to be, Olave. You can kind of play all around the field. You can have Mike Williams as a deep threat. You can have Shaheed as a deep threat. I don't know. That would have been a much more sexy move to me than Cedric Wilson.
My guess is they're probably going to go in the draft and get probably 3rd, 4th round, maybe get a receiver that means it's not obviously one of the 4 or 5 big names, but was still a productive receiver. I think Penn State even has a pretty good wide receiver that's going in the draft. So I think they'll be.
After we had Marcus Colson, receivers can come from anywhere.
And we started, and that's the way I feel about offensive linemen. A lot of the draft projections that I'm seeing are saying we might pick an offensive lineman in the first round, which not going to knock that. We definitely need it, but we look at a guy like Jari Evans. Jari Evans was, if we can look at his career as a Saint, he might have went down as one of our best offensive linemen ever.
Second or third round?
He was a fourth round pick out of Bloomberg College, and
He's a potential Hall of Famer.
he ended up being a stud for us. So
and then you get guys in the first round like Trevor Penning who
looked like a total waste.
Yes.
I would much rather draft a playmaker, either an edge rusher in the first round or a wide receiver, or if Brock Bowers is there, fellas, I don't see any way you pass that up. Like a guy who's supposed to go in the top 10, maybe even top 5 originally, he's starting to look like he's creeping down that draft order. If he somehow falls to our pick in the mid-teens, I mean, how do you pass that up? I mean,
Do you take Bo Nix if he's there?
I would love Bo Nix. The only problem is I don't know if I'd spend the first rounder on him. I don't know if he's going to fall to us in the second round, but I would love him.
I'd like us to get a quarterback when we replace Carr, not an if.
The Mariners
Carr is
they got the ring.
Well, and
right now.
I think, and if there's anything that solidified me saying we need to take a quarterback in the second or third round this year, it was signing Nathan Peterman to our team.
He's Carr
and saying,
what a waste.
I'm hopeful that there's a camp arm and they're going to cut him.
But is anybody else hoping Hayner beats out Peterman?
Absolutely.
I've read things to say I've read things that I've heard like Peterman is only there to push Hayner.
That's what I mean. There's going to be a camp arm. They're not going to keep him on the 50.
I think Hayner has potential. I don't think Peterman has that potential. So
I'm not thrilled about any of our quarterbacks. None of our quarterbacks.
To echo what you started this whole thing with, the Saints have done jack shit.
Yeah. I mean, they've solidified, and the only reason why they're solidified as 3 and not 4 in their division is because Carolina. But look, Carolina went out and got Deontay Johnson, so at least they're trying to make some kind of moves. They're just so far off right now but they're climbing the ladder faster than the Saints are. I mean,
I disagree. But they also gave away their best rusher, their best defensive player. They just traded him to the Giants, so they took a step forward. Like Brian Burns just got a massive deal to go play in the Giants.
Well,
take 2 steps forward.
Speaking of the Giants, real quick, did you see that Darren Waller retired?
He retired?
Yeah.
No, I did not see that.
Darren Waller?
Waller retired?
He was just like, fuck this.
The Giants were so bad, they beat that dude into retirement.
Wow.
And that was according to Yahoo, our best pick of the draft.
I did not hear that.
I laugh. I'm read the internet wrong, and
I'm sorry, but like we're talking about teams that are far off, like Carolina. I think the Giants are right up there with them. And I am not a Daniel Jones hater. I think the guy has a lot of skill. As a rusher, as a passer. I don't think the Giants have done enough to help that man. You can argue about with Saquon. Saquon was a great asset to have at the backfield, but who has his receivers been since he's been there?
They've been terrible. They've had the worst receivers.
Robinson.
I've already said that Sterling Shepard has naked photos of the owner or something.
I mean, Shepard was good.
He's the longest
7 years ago.
He was good like 10 years ago.
He's the only guy that's still in the Giants from the Hope photo with Odell.
Waller was supposed to be the guy, but it sounds like after one year in New York, he's ready to go.
Correction about that, he's pondering retirement. But either way, to still be thinking about it, he hasn't played that long in the league.
That might be our first pick. Waller.
The French smooth
Bob has his way.
Yes,
French smooth
not that far back.
Okay.
No, the one with Odell and Victor Cruz and all them on the front of a yacht.
Sex boat.
That's crazy that Sterling Shepard is still on.
French smooth was one of my favorite players.
No, the French smooth was the Sex Cruise.
Oh, okay. I'm thinking about sex.
I have to read this. You talking about Brian Burns from the Panthers? In November of 22, they turned down from the Rams a 23 second round pick, 25 first round pick, a 24 first round pick.
Yep.
This year they trade him. March of 24, they give him to the Giants for a 2024 39th overall pick, 25 fifth round pick.
Yeah.
That's it.
Carolina is so horribly run right now. It's a dumpster from the owner.
Yeah. Well, the owner's a piece of shit.
Yeah, I'm gonna say who's a piece of shit all the way down. And poor Bryce Young is probably not going to amount to anything because he has no help anywhere. I don't know.
Jesus.
But back on the Fred Smoot boat.
They call pepper on that.
I'm going to tell you this story. Deuce McAllister is my favorite player in Saints history. Him and Chad Pennington are kind of like neck and neck for my favorite NFL player of all time.
They were on the boat too.
The year we drafted, shut up. The year we drafted Deuce McAllister, I wanted the Saints to take Fred Smoot. And they took Deuce McAllister, and the man became my favorite Saints player ever. So, just a little random story for you.
Thanks, I think. I don't remember the last time I thought about Fred Smoot.
Fred Smoot was a decent
I
player.
don't know who Fred Smoot is.
If you saw a picture,
He
you
was
know.
Mississippi State corner. He was actually really
Played
good.
a while in the NFL for like the Redskins and the Vikings. Yeah, the whole Lumbo.
So he went to Mississippi
Oh, he
State.
made more than $1 million.
I know.
I'm noticing.
That's why Tom. That's why.
I was
Tom
gonna say,
went.
is anyone else noticing a trend of the sausage love fest that Todd and Travis have for their Mississippi State and Ohio State alums that are in different universities?
Todd, would you explain why you're not as happy as people would normally think about the Willie Gay signing from Kansas City?
Okay, well, I mean, I like Willie Gay. I think he's a very, very solid player. He's a good. I think he's done a lot for Kansas City. Played his ass off for Kansas City.
Mm-hmm.
One reason why I'm not a big fan of Willie Gay is because I was a big fan of Garrett Schrader when he was at Mississippi State. He finished his last few years at Syracuse. When the bowl game time came, Willie Gay punched him in the face during practice, and he could not play because his eye was fucked up. So Garrett Schrader sat out bowl game for Tommy Stevens, if you remember the Saints draft.
Ain't got to play.
Saints drafted that.
Saints draft pick. Yeah.
Saints drafted Tommy Stevens in the
What's he
7th
doing?
round.
Flipping burgers right now?
He didn't make the team. This Garrett Schrader would beat him out for the starting job anyway. But Garrett Schrader had some talent.
Tommy Stevens competing for the Grey Cup.
And when Mike Leach came in, he was moving Garrett Schrader to quarterback, so he transferred to Syracuse.
This is a complete non sequitur, but that story reminded me of the scene in Super Troopers when Farva's telling the story about Charlie Rich, the light the country music award on fire.
Yeah.
That's that story reminded me of. It's like, and guess who won the country music sort of sunshine on his goddamn shoulders, John Denver. Yeah. So anyway, when he's like, he punched him in the face, I just like.
I would love to just be able to ask Willie Gay a question like, "Hey, you remember that time? Can we go back to the time you punched two of your teammates in the face?"
Although Todd can't really be. He's got a couple of Mississippi State helmets in here that he needs to get signed, and
He's got a lot of.
Look, I'd give Willie Gay to sign one of those helmets.
Hey, if I go to this racing event in October or November,
Fletcher Cox.
I'll take one with me, and I will try to get Fletcher Cox to sign it for you.
If I print an 8x10, you can sign that for me?
I'll get him to sign anything you want.
Patrick will sign it for you.
Fletcher Cox retired.
We're gonna make it happen.
Fletcher Cox just retired, spent his whole career in Philadelphia.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Holy shit!
replace the stand-in. The real thing is here. What's happening, sir?
Sorry, I didn't know what time I was going to get off today, so I didn't respond.
Take that man off the milk cart. You're right in time for some NFL talk for free agency.
All right, we have a picture of you here.
For the listening audience, Mike just saw the photo of the young him, who's not him, affixed atop.
Got a lot of tats.
Yeah, atop the Lil Wayne Bum Boom promo.
Looks just like me.
I mean, yeah. You got a few more tats than the last time I saw you, but how's it going, buddy?
Going good. Been busy at work. Just, same old, same old. But, I'm happy to be here. Missed the last couple podcasts, unfortunately. But
Why don't you take Todd's chair? Go ahead.
I don't want to take
You can sit in that one.
Bro, we were just kind of discussing like NFL free agency a little bit, talking
the top
about
5 is video games.
tentatively scheduled for video games. Yeah.
Oh yeah, tentatively scheduled.
You already have a top 5. Come on now.
So I'll kind of ease you back into what we were talking about. We
see Willie Gay getting punched in the
yeah, Todd told a story about why he doesn't like Willie Gay because he punched a teammate in the face,
The
and
Saints poor free agency.
yeah.
Oh,
Don't kill fake Mike.
Oh
I
man.
didn't realize there was a basket behind that.
Yeah, I need something to prop it up with. So yeah, we talked about the moves or the lack of moves the Saints have made so far. what the Falcons did and where we thought
I'll send it to
the Saints are now positioned in our division, that they all kind of agree that the Bucs are still the number one favorite in our division. Atlanta's probably 2 now with Cousins and some of the moves they've made.
I know that's going to be dangerous with Kirk Cousins going to the Falcons. I think that brings another threat to the division. I mean, I know he's kind of getting
A little older.
maybe a little bit more washed out than when he was younger, but we can't underestimate that. I think he's definitely has the potential to whoop on our ass, in a game.
I brought it up earlier that Cousins is actually, he's had his way with us several times already.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
He has the tendency to turn the ball
All
over.
he had to do was go to the team that plays the least primetime games, and he'll be fine.
He wasn't the Minneapolis Miracle quarterback.
No,
that was Case Keenum.
That was Case Keenum.
The questionable one is the quarterback we just signed, Peterson.
Yeah, Peter
So we
He's
so
guaranteed
I think the general consensus on Peterman is I think he's brought in to push Hainer. I don't think
he's a camp arc, as I call him.
I would have a hard time seeing that man make our team, especially if the Saints hit somewhere in the draft kind of high up this year and draft a quarterback. I can't see us going into the season with Peterman as our number 2. Like he's terrible.
And look, they keep going back and trying to get all these people from the Raiders.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
yeah.
it's
Carr
like
definitely had
it's like
something
the
to
Denver
do with
Saints.
Peterman.
it's like look, I get it. I
Thomas is
get
gonna
it.
be
They're
on the
trying
Denver Saints
to
pretty
trying to
soon.
get people that
I
they're
don't think he likes
comfortable
Sean
with.
Payton, though.
But at the same time, the Raiders fucking suck. You know, like
Can we have people from good teams?
I know that's what I'm saying, right?
Hey, they got Gardner Minshew now.
What?
Shush.
But Peterman was trash, though, wherever he went.
I don't know.
They-
Peterman
so
had that chance. I don't know who the Bills quarterback was that year, but he comes in as a relief for. They bench whoever their starter was, and Peterman throws 5 interceptions.
Yeah, I remember that. That's
Is
what
it
I'm saying,
Tyrod?
5 interception game.
It may have been Tyrod Taylor, whoever they had before Josh
And
Allen.
they had Barkley on that team.
I
It
think
wasn't, it wasn't A.J. McCarron.
The next season is when they drafted Josh Allen. That's how bad they were because they got Josh Allen like the top 10 quarterbacks and top 10 picks next season.
I'd love me some Josh Allen.
He's going to Dan Marino route. He's never going to freaking win a Super Bowl.
He'll get one maybe.
Oh.
I think Burrow will get one before him though.
It's too preliminary to say that, Sean.
No, I remember I wanted to tell you too because we were saying like how I said San Francisco is never going to make it back to a Super Bowl, after losing.
Mm-hmm.
The last 18 quarterbacks that debuted, their Super Bowl debut, they've never made it back to a Super Bowl. Like Burrow, and you can say that went to a Super Bowl and lost. The last 18, and they said as a starter because one of them may have been
A backup, yeah.
a backup, but other than that, yeah.
I like Burrow's chances of getting back
Burrow's definitely
more than anyone. Probably, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if Philadelphia makes it this year with Hurts and what they added to that team with Barkley and bringing back C.J. Gardner-Johnson.
Did they sign Huntley as well?
Gardner Johnson's got to stay healthy, though, man.
Or was that rumored? Because you would be, if that was the case, you would have Hurts, Pickett, and Huntley on the same team. My son showed me something. That might have just been like a rumor.
I think that was true. They signed him.
Jeez.
But yeah, I mean, they went and got Barkley. Yeah, CJ's got to stay healthy. That's gonna be a big problem for them.
I'm kind of worried about their offensive line losing Kelsey and who else did they lose? They lost somebody else too, huh?
Fletcher Cox on defense.
He plays like on defense, but he was a rotation player at this point in time.
But
So
just losing Kelsey alone, to me is
they need to keep Lane Johnson healthy, along with probably drafting a lineman.
I thought they lost another lineman, so that's why.
They may have. I don't remember all of what they've done.
No, I think I misread it.
They've got not studs, but Lane Johnson and Kelsey have been pretty, been there the whole time. They maybe switched the other guys, but they've always been a good offensive line.
Yeah.
Before we move on from football talk, though, I do want to give a shout out to Steelers GM Omar Khan.
Whoa.
Do we know where Omar Khan went to high school?
Rummel?
That's 5 of us sitting around the table with.
Omar Khan went to Archbishop Rummel High School,
Shocking.
We already mentioned Jesuit Patrick on that.
and
Yeah, we gave a shout out to
we gave-
Jesuit.
I didn't bring it up though.
We gave a shout out to Colin Loop, even though shortstop was
year
batting
did
about
Omar
400.
Khan go?
It's a good question. I don't know. He was a
He's
little bit
older
older than us.
He's older than us or younger than us?
1996.
Well, what's so special about him?
1984.
he's making some pretty good moves and pretty free
Now
agency.
74.
He's at the Steelers, you said?
He's the Steelers GM, so he's the guy that is responsible for bringing in Russell Wilson and making that kind of a rip-off trade with the Bears to get Fields over there. So I think
Speaking,
Raider
give
pride.
where credit's due. Omar Khan's been
honestly,
doing a pretty good job.
I'd give him a shout out for this pickup more than any of those. Getting Patrick Queen from the Ravens.
Yeah.
That's going to be huge for them, especially if T.J. Watt can't be healthy
Well,
all the
another
time
team
because he's
that's
always
driven
hurt.
on defense.
So
Yeah.
what year did he graduate?
I'm looking it up right now.
Wikipedia.
It's interesting to know, like,
Wow.
is he older than us or younger than us?
While he looks that up, like
What's
the
his
Steelers-
age, and then you can figure it out.
Steelers are going to be interesting.
Elementary.
They're a playoff team now, I think, but they're still behind the Ravens. I think with picking up Derrick Henry, we'll see.
Thanks, Sean. This stuff's getting going. This stuff's going on Twitter.
I sent some fun metrics on
Kirk
all.
Cousins' contract.
Mm-hmm. Kirk Cousins and the shitty moves by the Panthers and like the 9,000 things they gave up to get Bryce Young.
Yes, he is actually 7 years older than us. So I guess if we had to put that back, that'd be 95, probably 95, right? So whoever said 96 was pretty damn close.
You said 96. No?
Yeah, and again, it's nice to see. It's nice to see a local guy who went to the high school that a lot of us graduated from here at this table and doing good things in the NFL. Again, that Justin Fields. Justin Fields for a 6th-round pick that could eventually evolve into a 4 is an absolute ripoff.
Yeah.
I mean, they were originally talking about Justin Fields possibly getting traded for like a 2nd-round pick, something along those lines, and to get him for a 6th is
Falcons would have probably overpaid for him.
yeah.
He would have signed $100 million with the Falcons, but he missed out on that.
And again, I was just preaching the fact that now you have 2 really viable quarterbacks in that system, and kind of shocked that Fields is okay with being a backup for right now. But anyway,
I guess does that mean they have any faith in Russell Wilson? This 1-year deal, and like he's going to suck, and they're going to bench him halfway through the season. Why even sign him?
yeah, I don't.
Well, they need a safety cushion.
Yeah, maybe they didn't think they were going to get Fields.
When all else fails, you
Yeah,
got somebody that's played it down in the NFL.
Yeah.
Used to be good.
And then look, it could if Wilson has a good year. I mean, it could lead to a big contract from somebody else. But again, I think
Yeah. After last year, you could say Fields is an injury risk, sort of. I mean, he was out for 4 games. So, I don't know.
But again, I think it's only fitting to give a shout out to our local,
That's right.
with us, and he's doing a great job up with the Steelers as our general manager. Shout out to Omar Khan.
You want to call Mark and get his opinion? Since he's a Steelers fan.
I believe he called him con artist the other day, but I don't understand why, because who would not be excited about Justin Fields for a 6th-round pick?
Yeah.
I mean, that's to me.
Well, I mean,
be
we
a
know
good
Ohio
GM.
State got it.
I think the problem is the stain of drafting Kenny Pickett.
Yeah.
That's the big knock on him right now.
Yeah.
I know nothing about him, so I'm not going to shit talk him because I don't really follow the Steelers other than what my brother-in-law, who's a Steelers fan, talks about them. But yeah, Kenny Pickett,
Steelers.
swinging the miss.
I don't know. I
There's
personally.
only one E in that word. It's Steelers.
I could be in a minority on this too. I feel like Pickett still may have something in left there that hasn't been untapped
Some
yet.
untapped talent, maybe.
I disagree. I think I've seen enough. Again, he can't drive the ball down the field. He won't drive the ball down the field. That's why they went and got Wilson, because if nothing else, that's the one thing Russ Wilson is still good at.
Fuck it, George Pickens is down there somewhere.
And that's exactly the plan. Like Freiermuth is an intermittent yardage tight end, but Pickens going deep, he did not throw to him down the field. They brought Wilson in, 1, because he was cheap, obviously, but 2, he will at least push the ball down the field, which is what they need to do because their offense is absolute
The
garbage.
Broncos are still eating a shit ton of that contract, huh?
They're paying $37 million of it.
Holy shit.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's a. I don't care who would have.
Fuck you, Sean Payton.
And speaking of, like what are they going to do in the draft, because they got rid of Jerry Jeudy, and I think they signed who's their quarterback now? Not Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold went to the Vikings. They picked up
Justin Jefferson's going to be
So is
seriously hurt.
So Darnold's supposed to be starting?
Who?
Darnold
I'd
starting?
fucking take
He's
Drew Lock.
technically the starter in Minnesota right now.
You should put up Broncos?
Yeah.
Justin Jefferson, he's
I
going
did.
to be
Yeah,
absent.
I was wondering that. Who signed Drew Lock? Because Drew Lock is a serviceable backup, and I would take him in a heartbeat over Nathan Peterman.
If you filibuster for a second, I can tell you.
Probably better than Sam Darnold.
Drew Lock might be better than Derek Carr. So
Whoa. Slow down a little bit on that.
I would take anyone over Nathan Peterman. Is Arch Manning
pick
available?
Peterman.
Is Arch Manning ready?
Arch should have transferred to Ohio State, but that's just me.
You know what? Oh God. Screw Arch Manning for not signing in up to play
For
with
the
the
NCAA game.
yeah.
He's too big. He's too
Like
big.
just take the $600. Like too big. All they're gonna do is come in,
No,
scan his face and
I
his
was
body.
being sarcastic, Patrick. Jesus
He's tall.
Christ.
He's too tall for the video game.
You think Jack Caglione would do it?
Yeah. Drew Lock went to the Giants.
No,
Oh boy.
1 year, $5 million.
that's a serviceable backup to
He'll be
Daniel
starting
Jones.
that
He could probably
season when
start.
Daniel Jones fizzles out.
So is the veto like done? They gave up on the veto?
That was fun for a few
They
days.
gave up on that gimmick, that pro wrestling gimmick.
Hey, he's got a hell of a pizza pie career coming up ahead of him.
Yeah, that was the dude that was throwing the dough around in the wrestling ring.
Yeah.
He'll have Gordon Ramsay coming to visit his restaurant and saving it. Seems like every kitchen nightmare is some stereotypical, yeah, with Davinos in New York.
Maybe
And it's
he
like
can link
every
up with
restaurant.
Paulie D and get on
Yeah, right.
the reunion show of the movie that they're talking about they were doing.
Since Todd asked about Jack Caglione again,
My hero.
how much ass do you think Jack Caglione gets at the University of Florida?
Well, the problem is it's in Gainesville, so it's probably all infested. and I say that as someone who spent 2 semesters in Gainesville, so I have a bit of the lay of the land, right?
Do you have some news for us?
I'm clean.
Patrick, I think you should get tested.
Been there, done that.
Good.
Fun fact.
Kind of like Tebow.
Fun fact.
Fun fact.
Syphilis.
The twins
Tebow.
worked at a syphilis testing.
I worked. We worked in ID.
But that was probably a little worse than what he's experienced. So we worked at so Travis and I in college worked for the school-based screening program at LSU Health Sciences Center, and they tested the public schools in New Orleans for STDs, mainly gonorrhea and chlamydia. So it was.
And then, like, you would see.
And ladies and
Avoid
gentlemen,
the class.
they are very
You'd-
lucky
you'd-
that they made it out with digits on their hands.
Y'all have had some interesting jobs. I gotta say.
I ain't gonna lie, man. That job took care of us. Like,
Oh,
it was a. Like,
Or did it now?
it was a great. No, I mean, like if it was like so laid back. It was like if they didn't have stuff for us to do, they're like, yeah, just bring your school books and study. I'm like, okay, so I'm getting paid to study and try to do good on my test. But yeah, it was awkward though when people would have to come into the office and get their medication because you obviously knew what they were there for. It was kind of like, oh, okay, you tested positive for chlamydia. Okay, you tested positive for syphilis. Here
Your
you go.
dick's gonna fall off.
Damn, why couldn't
Sound
medical
Sound medical advice.
Mike jumping back in with thunder.
Take penicillin.
I remember I remember
Sorry,
like
sir.
part of that job was we had to like shred documents.
But
and
you
it was,
got crotch wrap.
and they had some pictures in there that were pretty graphic.
Oh, yeah.
It was like people with STDs. Like, some
Oh,
of it was
I remember
great.
the.
You've heard of cauliflower ear?
Yeah.
What about cauliflower penis?
Well, I saw one. I
I,
saw one that had, I don't know what it was, but it had spread around to like the ass, and like it had eaten through like half of the ass.
Go
So it was
figure.
like it
Todd's
was a
looking at
big,
the ass. You know.
but it was like a big chunk of this person's ass was missing because of whatever disease they had. I don't.
Was the taint still there?
start him young, huh?
Was the taint still
And
there?
that was when Todd realized.
Once an ass eater, always an ass eater.
Not at that moment.
Would you eat prolapsed ass?
Oh my
Whoa.
God, dude.
Anyway.
Before this wagon gets off the rails, I think we already.
I think we're already there.
Wow,
I don't want to. I mentioned Jack Caglione, so while we're on the topic of baseball,
Wow.
I see Todd's
holding
holding.
from STDs back to Jack Caglione.
So rude.
Does he like cauliflower dip?
I see Todd's
When he eat
collapsed ass. Is that the way Mike refers to it?
Does he like blue waffles?
Jack, from one semi-gator to an actual gator, I'm sorry. If you're listening, I'm sorry.
But while we're on the topic of baseball, Todd's holding a baseball jersey in his hand, so I think there's a topic he would like to talk about.
Well, as you know, this weekend banana ball of the Savannah Bananas was in Baton Rouge. Our very own Patrick went on Thursday. My son Camden went on Friday. And I mean, look, the Savannah Bananas in and of itself, I find it. I watch some of the. I see some of the clips that are on like the shorts and stuff. I think it can be pretty appealing. The tickets, like the resale ticket prices, were absolutely astronomical.
Oh yeah.
My son ended up getting the tickets from one of his friends. He just happened to have an extra ticket and asked him to go. So of course Camden wanted to go. My daughter Grayson, who absolutely hates baseball but loves to watch like TikTok and YouTube Shorts and all that, really wanted to go. So Jessica and I were looking. Well, since Camden's going, let's see if we can find tickets for ourselves. So we're looking at like the cheapest ones were like $187 in the nosebleed seats. So it's like obviously I'm not spending that to watch basically like theater, you know. But Camden went. He had a really good time. He brought me back a baseball. As you know, I collect baseballs from stadiums, so he brought me back a Savannah Bananas baseball. Brought Grayson back a Savannah Bananas pin. But he brought himself the party animals. Of course, my son is a rebel, so it's like he's got to go against what everybody else likes. So he brought the opposing team's jersey. It's called the Savannah Party Animals.
Ooh.
It's a really, really cool jersey. Black jersey with like neon yellow and pink. And if you look at their logo, it's over here on the shoulder. It's a banana with a banana. It's a monkey with a banana peel on its head, and he's got the little party. I don't know what these things are called. Things that make the noise and shoot out. As well.
Yeah.
Cool logo. Cool little jersey. But overall, I mean, you know, I would have liked to have gone, but I just thought the resale ticket prices were just too astronomical for me to pay.
It's kind of
The
with
jersey
everything.
reminds me of like Airline Skate Center for some reason.
It does. Well, I mean, it's the 90s.
The picture that's on our
I don't know
page,
why I thought of that place when I
Yes.
look at that jersey.
Yes.
the picture that I have, and I think Travis has it on the Facebook page as well, but the picture that we have on the Twitter page as the banner is from Airline Skate Center. We were there for somebody. Was that Tori's birthday party?
Probably, yeah.
And if you look, like everything behind us is like neon,
Mm-hmm.
so it fits the it kind of fits this whole party animal jersey.
Yeah, I know
So-
Jamie really wanted to go, but we didn't get any tickets.
Yeah, we all tried the internet lottery.
For certain specific reasons, I'm not going to like speak on a whole lot of this, but the experience is for kids. It's amazing. They're so kid centric with what everything they do, from some of the pregame activities to all the in-game entertainment that's going on, and how they interact with the kids and the fans while the game is going on. It's odd to say this, but honestly, as an adult, you have to remember that though there's a baseball game actually being played, no matter what professional level, you have to remember there's a game going on, because there's so much happening outside the actual baseball game.
Yeah.
Like there's music all 24/7 the entire game. There's music playing, and it is loud.
That's against the rules.
So you'll see people get caught up in the atmosphere and the song and dancing, and not really paying attention to the game, even though there's like some action going on. Now, mind you, you should be paying attention, because the umpire is dancing his ass off behind the home plate. The pitchers are
short of an umpire twerking. It was like,
yeah,
okay.
and like they'll stop. Like the pitcher will stop in between pitches, and he'll just do a dance for like a quick second and then pitch. The batter will do his little dance or a shimmy or something like that. Certain players
They
come out.
here at Baton Rouge puke.
Yeah, certain players come out to like walk up music. So it's a lot to take in from just a sensory standpoint. So it's great for kids. They will 100% be entertained. As an adult, it's not really for you. It's just there's enough stuff going on for you to be entertained while your kids are being entertained. It's all for them.
It's kind of like the Nickelodeon NFL game.
Yeah, but honestly, way more fun.
Who's the
Yeah.
It's legitimately a good time, and I enjoy it. The tickets, I think, were $35, right? I would pay it any time because it was super entertaining. The rules are different, so if you don't like staunch traditional baseball, there's a lot of different quirk changes to the game.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So would you rather go to like Florida Gators game or a Savannah Bananas game?
No, I'd rather go watch like an actual real baseball game.
Yeah.
Just because-
actually,
Sounds like sorry.
But also, like that's I would watch not most college teams play versus a team like the Savannah Bananas, but the major teams, like any team in our state, I'd rather go watch them than this because I care about regular baseball. This is fun, but this is an entertainment thing that involves baseball.
How many people there would not go to a regular baseball game?
Travis made a comment about this earlier, how he was seeing all these posts on Facebook about people there. And some of the people acted like they were avid baseball fans, but he said he knows one of the guys has never been to a major league game, but was there.
And that's my thing too. Like I get it from like people who have daughters, Scarlett would probably much rather go to a Savannah Bananas game. Grayson would probably much rather go to a Savannah Bananas game. But like I would much rather go to a pro game, and I'm pretty sure my son would probably enjoy a Savannah Bananas game. But I think if we flip that script a little bit, he would probably rather go to watch the Cleveland Guardians than go watch Savannah Bananas. And I say Guardians just because that's our team, but at the same time, I think he would be much more into just going to a regular pro game rather than the Savannah Bananas. But
it's a simple thing. Like, hey, you just got to turn your mind off to like, yes, there's baseball going on, but the atmosphere is an absolute party from the minute they let you in the gate to the end. Like it's nonstop. There's the lights are flickering off and on. There's like I said, there's music the entire game.
It's like a concert,
and it does not take a time out.
It also,
It's like a home run at Tulane.
It also kind of serves as a reminder that New Orleans no longer has a minor league team, which is
what level are the players? Are they minor league level?
No, it's like collegiate travel level. So a lot of the players.
So they're that young?
No, they're say probably mid 20s,
Okay.
but they're not like JUCO players.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's almost like a off season.
Okay,
like
so these
baseball.
other guys play in other leagues too. It's not like
No.
Well, one of UNO's players from a couple of years ago was one of UNO's studs. His name was Pierce Howard.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised he wasn't drafted.
He actually went to the Savannah Bananas after he graduated from UNO. But I think he only played 1 year there. He's not there anymore, I don't think.
I mean, did they start as a minor league team and it kind of grew into this crap?
It's like intramural is the wrong word. It's like a collegiate travel.
It's kind of a money grab.
Well, right.
It started as a minor league team and it grew into this.
I legit thought that.
I thought that too, though.
Because when we were collecting like minor league hats and finding crazier logos, I remember the Savannah Bananas being in the mix.
Yeah.
And thinking it was just another minor league team.
It sounds like a Harlem Globetrotter.
I mean, I have a hat with a thing of grape for a baseball bat.
I think that's actually the way Heather referred to it the other day. She was like, it's kind of like the Harlem Globetrotters for basketball.
Yeah.
It's just things that kids really like to see. And I get it. I think it'd be fun for anybody, but as a baseball fan, I'd probably rather go see a pro game or
do a
Thursday college game.
Yeah.
So per their Wikipedia, they compete as a collegiate summer baseball team in the Coastal Plains League. Again, it's
an actual league.
Yeah, so like
I thought the park animals and like the other teams were like all a part of their crew or something.
They sort of are. Like it's like the Globetrotters. They play the same team every time, with the exception of like there's a new team. This seems like it's like a firefighter based type or theme team. But I'm assuming like they're the same players, and like some people like graduate and move on to like to like maybe a minor league team or to do whatever on in life, and so they kind of have new players coming in, but they're not even minor league.
Right.
They're not triple A,
collegiate level,
single A, anything. They're below that.
But they probably make more money though.
I don't.
They probably don't make no money.
I don't know what they.
That money had to go somewhere.
I don't know what the players get paid,
money.
but let me tell you, they
$20
break
$100
in money.
That organization.
So like we were. I kind of just did the math real quick, and I was looking at it. Like Tiger Stadium, I think was, let's say 12,000 and now the tickets were on ground level were like 100 to 125, something like that, right? The next everything else from there was 35. So I just took the $35 price for every ticket. So let's say they sold out $12,000 seats, $35 is $420,000.
But they paid the DJs,
So now you have to pay whatever it costs to rent Tiger Stadium. You got to pay to rent Tiger Stadium. You got to pay the players. You got to pay, I'm sure, like insurance and stuff like that. But to just take in was $420,000 for one Thursday night.
Yeah.
Now factor in kids buying jerseys, a baseball, a hat, this and that, the merch, the food, the alcohol. Now, I don't know if Tiger Stadium gets that. Because I'm sure the contracts are different. Where it's like the university or the school or wherever the stadium gets.
Yeah,
but like they sold out Minute Maid Park the week before, all 3 days.
Cool.
That's 16,000 plus. And again, just take $35, which is like the regular price, as opposed to I guess the low level premium seats.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That's like an arena show, like in the musician world.
But think of the scalper selling the tickets for $500.
And like
he's making money.
Like the day of, I looked at it, like Todd said, tickets were like $180. I'm like, did I think about selling my ticket? For a second, yeah, but I was like, you know what? I'm never going to do this again. I know I'm not ever going to do this again. I don't want to do this again.
What I heard was they go to like all these travel ball leagues and stuff locally, and they give them a bunch of tickets so they can raffle them off and make money for their.
Sure, I'm sure they probably do.
Travel league. They go to police departments, fire departments, and they give them a bunch of promotional tickets. And stuff like that.
Which and some of that's cool, but like they're absolutely making money. I think Tiger Stadium was the first collegiate stadium they've ever played in, and
They usually play pro stadiums.
No, they usually do some pros, but most like minor league stadiums. Yeah, they don't play in minor league stadiums. I think Houston, like when the market dictates, like if they go to Boston, I would expect them to probably try to play in Fenway.
Okay.
If they can get the contract right with the MLB and the Red Sox. If not, they're probably going to play in the minor league stadium. But Houston was a huge success. I'd imagine, like in some cities, they're going to play in the big baseball stadiums because it would just make sense. Like, could you imagine like that in like Yankee Stadium? Print money. Dodger Stadium, print money.
I wanted to say this earlier, and I'm probably going to botch it, but anyway, I'm going to say it. Your explanation of the Savannah Banana, whatever this we're talking about, was like on The Office when he's talking about like a kid's birthday party. It's like, the kids are there and they're having fun, so you're having fun, and like, but you're not really having fun. It's I don't know. That's what it reminded me of.
That's fair, but like I said, it's just
it was funny how you were saying it. That's what it reminded me of. Where it's like you're there, but you're not really having fun. But there's pizza. The kids are having fun.
No,
you're like it's okay. It was just like the way you were saying it. You're kind of like very carefully choosing how you like.
Because it's definitely for the kids.
Yeah,
as an adult, super entertained. Like, because they brought kids out for like you have to like a relay race. We have to like get dressed and run to a station and then run back.
Yeah.
They brought out like probably a 3 or 4 year old girl with like the Princess Potassi or Potassium, whatever her name was. They're like their version of Belle, right?
Okay.
They bring her out.
Yellow belt.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, she's in a yellow dress and she's like basically like Belle. But they bring out a little 4-year-old girl and they have her like throw to like a couple players and she does some other things. Then they bring out her parents and they're like, all right, here's the game. The little girl's gonna be here. The parents, you go to the other end of like the baseline. She has to run towards the parents, and whatever parent she picks, that parent gets to pie in the face the other parent. So they do stuff like that for the kids, and the parents. You're going to be entertained because it's adorable what's going on because they're playing to your kids.
Was there literally like 30 minutes between each inning?
No.
So they're going on while the game was going on.
There'd be kind of like in between the third inning where maybe like they'd be dragging in a baseball game. They would drag the dirt real quick. Yeah. They're doing this, so it's probably like a couple minutes in between each inning.
Like but grabbing the gator, chasing each other. And
yeah, right.
Casey
the game.
Watch out! We have the race.
The game is 2 hours, no matter what.
I mean, this sounds like so much fun. I don't even know why they would be even playing baseball.
I saw a short. It was like 3.5 minutes of them doing the whole dirty dancing. So,
like
freaking guy at the plate running and the pitcher holds him up.
So like,
what am I watching?
You can tell like they have like a rundown of all the things they can do or want to do, and then they'll change it based off how the game is going. Because like if innings are ending quicker, they'll do more entertainment but the game is 2 hours max. The minute they start the game, the clock runs first pitch, and
1
hour and 59 minutes.
No extra innings.
It's wrapping up. So there's 2 hours max period. So you're in and out.
One question: did they make a big deal about strikeouts being called Ks?
No.
Potassium. Come on. All right.
Oh,
They-
my
All right.
Pudding.
gosh.
I'm gonna show myself.
Sean's showing himself out.
Okay, just like in the last
Mr.
episode,
Vigo thought that was
mark the episode 1 hour 30 minutes. Showing bad joke. Hit him
God
with a
rest
game
his
show.
soul. No.
God, I know he died. He's super
He was like
dead.
100 movies.
Super dead. He was super great.
He was awesome. But I
Super
had
dead.
I remember Vigo was hilarious. He
With the
gave
magnifying glass.
yeah. I had he couldn't
The big
see,
glasses, the magnifying glass, the
and he totally did.
big round dome thing.
Yeah. They were- Make you write your name like the size of the top of your page.
Patrick's left that in his conversation, so is John.
All right, but really quick.
He spoke
He
about,
would tell you
motivation.
really bad jokes, and like him telling them were hilarious. So like they're like, "Oh, Mr. Vigo, I saw you at the Burger King the other day." He's like, "Oh, you saw me? What? You cut me in half? What?" It was like, and like he would always do these like bad jokes, but it was in his voice. Like, and he was just so serious, and we had him as our valedictorian, not valedictorian, but like
He
the
spoke
the
at
speech
graduation.
graduation. And he's like,
That's the speaker?
and he was like,
Commencement speaker.
yeah, not valedictorian. Obviously, the dude was like,
No, he was salutatorian.
Generally.
but no, like he said, he's like, y'all don't want me to do the speech because I'm gonna do it serious, and he totally like was not
Oh
completely
yeah,
serious.
we were like
I thought
cheering
it
and
was
shit
great.
and like stand the nose and
So anyway, yeah.
Yeah, we definitely need to go back to the crotch rot conversation.
You want me to redeem myself? I stepped on a grape the other day. It didn't scream, but it let out a little whine.
You know, well, as bad as that joke was, that's a perfect segue
What
into
are we drinking?
Wine?
what we're drinking. Because I noticed Todd today
Is
does
drinking
not-
some grapes.
does not have a traditional beer. He's got wine today. So Todd, you started off. What are you drinking?
Well, since we went to 3 different breweries yesterday, I'm a little over beer right now. So I'm drinking Bubo Pinot Noir from it's vinted and bottled in Bubo Cellars in
California.
Manteca, California.
Okay.
And I first came across their red blend. It's sold at Whole Foods. It's really cheap. It's like $8 a bottle, and it's actually surprisingly really good. So Bubo Pinot Noir.
And what is this wine stopper you have on top?
Oh, it's a San Jose Sharks hockey helmet.
Oh,
Solid.
duh!
Solid.
It looks like some kind of droid from Star Wars.
That's what I thought it was at first. It was like a Star Wars. I thought it was like a Darth Vader.
Human cyborg. Really.
Todd doesn't speak of the San Jose Sharks right now.
I mean, they're terrible right now. So
Well,
Well,
they are winning today, though. I think they won today.
I'll go
just
next.
beat the Blackhawks.
They played the Blackhawks, who are the other worst team in the league.
Battle of the Bads.
Yes, I won't go next.
Go ahead.
good.
Oh, okay, I can go.
Yeah.
I'm usually the one cutting people off, so it's nice to be cut off.
It's different change.
So,
Yeah, so I'm drinking Allegiance. Oh, Mike. I liked you better when you didn't say anything. No, I'm kidding.
about Bubo wine. No.
Well, you got another
Let's
bad
go.
joke. You got another bad joke, Sean?
wine is God.
Wait,
You
Biff,
got
not,
another bad joke, Sean?
Biff, not to cut you off.
But to cut me off.
Stand in, Mike. What are you drinking? Bumbu?
I'm pretty the fool. They're pretty absurd.
Drinking some bamboo rum.
He's bumble rum.
More than actual Mike is drinking.
Mike's drinking nothing. I'm drinking Elysian Space Dust. It's from Elysian Fields Brewery in New Orleans.
No, it's from Seattle.
But yeah, it's like 9%. So I've had 2, and I'm already probably ready to take a nap.
Pretty good.
I had one, but I'll get it.
Seattle.
I'll have
the
one
best-
more.
Well, the
for
best
top.
rock bands hail from.
That's right. The most
Seattle?
depressing rock bands.
All the dead ones.
Oh, jeez.
Pretty true.
Actual Mike, what are you
So
drinking
those
today?
Actual Mike's not drinking anything. Still on my non-drinking.
Rest.
Well, it's almost over.
Is it?
It is 2 weeks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it is almost Easter.
Oh, you're doing
Easter
a
ends
you're doing a non-drinking till Easter?
No.
All these good Catholic boys here. Yeah, Lent ends when Easter gets here.
He's on a cleanse.
I'm on a cleanse.
Attaboy. I like that.
Attaboy. No, liquid diet.
Colonic?
No, I started some new medication that gets really trippy.
I think you mentioned that, like not specifically in detail, but I think you were saying something about your medication.
Last night
So.
I had some beers with that Rice Krispies.
Yeah.
Thank compliments of Josh.
But if I could drink,
Happy birthday to me.
What would you
I
have?
would drink that wine right now. So.
Oh.
You wouldn't drink an Elysian Space Dust?
No, he scoffed at it when
Or
I
a
got
I
it.
was like, I was looking at
A
it.
Thai cobbler.
He's like IPA
IPA.
Yep.
AP.
8.2%, yeah. One of these is mine. I know the camera can't really see that. Maybe it can.
One of them is Sean.
But I was just trying to mess with it. But yeah, after the Elysian Space Dust, I'm drinking I just finished it. The Thai Cobbler from Rally Cat Brewing.
Yeah,
It's
that's
Thai cobb.
Yeah, that's Thai cob.
When I think of Thai Cobb, I think of racist.
My Thai Cobb bag. What's the guy's name? Hey, so-and-so, who's Thai Cobb? And his bat's in the
Racist.
fireplace.
Dwight Yoakam was the one who said that in the Newton Boys.
Yeah,
Thai Cobbler has sour
Isn't that
ale
Thai
with
Cobb?
peaches, cinnamon, and vanilla.
Yeah, that's Thai cob.
Sorry, very sweet. Mm-hmm.
It's got
Patrick, did you watch the Newton Boys yet?
No.
You should.
Travis?
So yesterday, as Todd said, for our birthday, we went to 3 different breweries. We went to Port Orleans, NOLA, and Miel. Which, by the way,
Yeah.
let me just speak about Miel for a second.
Yeah.
I flashed the pub pass at Miel. And this rude ass bartender, waitress, bartender, barmaid, whatever you want to call her, decides to dump half of my fucking beer out and come back with a smaller glass and give it and she
With
had
an
a
attitude.
rude scowl on her face.
You need an attitude.
And then says, "Does anybody else have a pub pass?" I'm sorry, Miel. It's my first time going to ever visit this brewery. If you guys don't want to take part in the pub pass, then don't. But I was very thrown off by that service. And I also had a pickle habanero beer that tasted like total ass. So, Miel, that might be my one and only for you.
I had the regular pickle without the stinging in the throat from the habanero, and it tasted just
Well,
as shit.
I mean, Miel certainly wasn't the worst New Orleans brewery I've been to. I think Parlo looked like a fucking shed with 3 beers on tap.
all over your
Well, hold on.
But Parlo's
Looks,
beer was...
looks or just the general experience of the
I
brewery?
wasn't crazy about the beer either, but
Okay.
I thought the beer at Parlo was better. Yes, they could do a little more with the aesthetics of the place,
Yeah.
but at the same
A
place,
storage container or something.
yeah, if you like the shit, good serve
I
beer.
might be
And they-
biased, but they had a guy selling empanadas when I was at
Oh, that's
I was
awesome.
like, yeah, it was pretty good.
But I do think Parlo only had like 5 or 6 beers on tap, but like at the same time, their beer tastes a little better and had better service than
And they didn't dump
Miel.
out half the drink they were going to
Yeah, I
serve.
mean that was ridiculous in my opinion. So
be a pest.
So I will probably not be going to Miel anytime soon again. But what I'm drinking is one of the beers I discovered yesterday. It's from Port Orleans Brewing, which has always been great to us. Port Orleans.
We love you,
Orleans
Zach
is
Street.
great. We love you, Zach Street. This one is called New Orleans Runs on Dunkel, and it is a coffee stout, coffee dunkel. It is delicious. It's probably the best coffee beer I think I've ever had. Like I'm
Yeah, it was good. I had it.
He said that.
It was gone. In all fairness, it's gone.
very good. So big shout out, showing the can to the fans here. New Orleans Runs on Dunkel is what I'm drinking tonight, and it is very delicious.
You don't want to share how it clogged the lines and they couldn't stop
That
serving
wasn't
it?
the Dunkel.
That was the
one.
cookie one.
Oh,
that was
excuse me.
that was the
That was
double
my
stuffed
double
cookie.
stuffed Oreo cookies.
I was excited to try that because Sean was drinking it yesterday and it actually looked like a milkshake. And then go figure, I go to get one and they said the lines were clogged because of how thick the beer was. So, but Sean seemed to like it. He had a couple of pints of it.
with the gift.
It's a bit chunky.
So America Runs on Dunkel, excellent beer. If you haven't had it, go get it.
Yeah, if you look at the cans, it's even got the little like pink and orange like Dunkin' colors. So it's pretty cool.
Dunkin' Donuts is getting some
They're going to get
royalties off
sued
of
by
that.
Dunkin'.
Soon to be sued.
Port Orleans gets sued by Dunkin'. That's the slogan.
I'll piggyback off of what Travis said. That Dunkel is a great beer. I'm gonna go ahead and say it now. That's the best beer they make at Port Orleans.
Ooh,
Go ahead.
There was one that they made in one of their months where they had the beer release. It was a raspberry. What's the coffee beer they had there?
That's the coffee one.
The one you
It
were
was,
drinking
it was
yesterday.
a raspberry coffee stout, but I can't think of they have a name for it. I'll look it up.
Coffee
in a minute.
break.
Coffee break, yeah. So it was the raspberry coffee break. And it was really, really good. Heather and I both, I think that's our favorites that they've ever had. But I've looked for it in cans, looked for it in bottles. They've never released it in there. I think it was only for the tap room, but phenomenal.
Yeah, look, I agree with what Patrick said. I think that this Dunkel was probably my favorite that Port Orleans ever had, but I do really like their Kennebrow Kolsch, and I do really like their, which is also out right now, their Mardi Gras Bacchus Blonde, which is really good. So, but yes, this is probably my favorite one I've had so far.
My personal favorite Port Orleans is 3-day weekend.
Yeah,
I like their 3-day.
Heather likes that one too.
I don't know if y'all realized this yesterday. I remember the last time I was there in January. They don't sell Port Orleans cans in stores right now.
Why?
Like there's something, I don't know, they have to like go through something with a distributor or something, and like everybody thought they were closing. And I was told they're actually opening one like on the West Bank or somewhere else, like another Port Orleans location.
Yeah,
They're like, yeah, we're not closing, we're expanding.
Yeah.
Even though we don't sell our shit in stores
They
right
were
now.
talking about opening where Porch and Patio was.
Okay, there you
Yeah,
go.
no, I heard.
that was the rumor mill, but then
That's the
didn't
rule.
come to-
I heard about that. I think they're putting it close to where the
It's very smart.
the place on the place. Why can't I think of its name?
Great.
The place off
I got
of
used to that.
River Road, the bar,
Oh, Shack.
River Shack?
River Shack.
Oh,
So they have River Shack Gretna, and I think they're putting the Port Orleans on the West Bank pretty close to that. If I'm not
Is it
mistaken.
West Bank? Because I knew they said
Gretna.
another location, but yeah.
I hope it's in Gretna because I teach lessons in Gretna.
I think it's somewhere right close to there. So
Gretna Fest.
Well, to take back my segment and my turn on this segment, I guess. Travis said he had never had the Parish Strawberry Cane Break, so I decided to bring Parish Strawberry Cane Break for me and also for him to try out. So I'm drinking Parish Cane Break. Josh?
I also brought something else.
Agua.